Hey, it's Coach Jeremy Williams here with Red Hawk Coaching, and I have an amazing guest today, Shannon Steer, the team lead of the Shannon Group out of Kansas City. And I am so excited to have you today. How are you doing, Shannon?
I'm doing awesome. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. You've done some incredible things in your business, including in 2020, you did $40 million dollars in closed sales, 138 deals with just a team of four people. Tell me a little bit about your journey, 2019, 2020, and where do you want to see yourself go in 2021?
Well, I'm going to go back to 18 as well, if that's okay, because, I relaunched my business, Jeremy, in 2016. I'd been out of selling real estate for 10 years on a coaching journey and training journey, and which is how you and I met, which was awesome. And I decided to start over and create a team that, number one, would have high culture, high customer service, and it would be a highly profitable team, because that's probably one of the most important things to me in running a team is I don't want to have a lot of bodies. I want to have people making really good livings. So in 2018, I had two selling people on my team and myself and an admin, and we did 18.8 million.
That's amazing. That
In
is
two
that is amazing.
years, we went to 40 million without hiring one person. So we went from 18.8 million with systems, models, tech, lead sources to 40 million. And I think that's the story, right? Like most people think you have to have so many more people to go do more volume. And my question is always, is that true? Or do you just need more systems, more lead sources, more focus? And we didn't work anymore, by the way. We just made a shit ton more money.
Mhm. Well, your profitability is a lot higher. You see these teams out there that'll have, they're on stage and they're talking about they have 20, 30, 40 team members that are doing the same amount that you're doing. And it's not necessarily necessary.
I would put my P&L against anybody. I'm between 48 and 49%. And that's just a smoking P&L for having a high cost of sale of two agents.
Yeah, because most of the time for a team model, it's around 40%. They're like, that's awesome. And you're clearing that by almost 10%.
Yep. Now I sell a lot, so that makes a difference, right? Like out of the 40 million, I sold about 20. So I am a selling team lead, which I think that makes the difference too. Obviously, if I wasn't selling, my cost to sell would go way up, my profit would go down. However, I still sell a ton.
And what value does that bring? Because there are a lot of team leads out there, people that want to move to a position to where they're not necessarily in the daily sales grind. But what value does that bring to your team by doing that?
Well, number one, I go on appointments with them, right? So because I'm in the field and this is what I do every day, I'm deadly. I mean, and if I look at a dollar per hour, like if I go on an appointment with Eddie and I walk in for an hour and slam down a $300,000 deal, I mean, I just made, you know, $4,000 an hour. So it's I think me being in the field and having my scripts and my closing, and it also makes me keep reinventing all of my tools. Like my listing presentation, I reinvent probably every month. My pre-list, I just keep tightening all the systems because I keep finding loopholes and different things that work, and I just keep improving all the time. I don't think if I wasn't out there in appointments experiencing it, I don't think I would have the foothold on what tools I need to really be successful.
And I heard something in there that just like the light bulb went off is that your systems are always changing. A lot of times I'll be talking with agents that are growing their business and nothing has changed. It's been the same thing they've presented for the last 20 years. Yet you're telling me on a monthly basis, you're going in, tightening things up and changing it.
We tighten up our lead gen, we tighten up our lead responders, we tighten up our videos, we tighten up our transaction coordination. I mean, every month we're like, okay, what are the systems we need to tweak this month to get better, to be leaner, to have more conversion and in less time?
Yeah, absolutely. That's
Always.
awesome. I know the answer to this. I don't know if the audience is going to know the answer to this because what a lot of people might not know is that you were a coach for me, a leadership coach in the past, and helped me accomplish some really amazing things. And so I already know the answer to this. Yet I think people ought to hear it. Is what makes Shannon Steer successful?
Hmm. That's an interesting question. You should have asked me that ahead of time. I could have been able to think about it. Now you're putting me on the spot, Jeremy. I will tell you that my upbringing, first of all, was a really cool upbringing in the fact that my parents, my dad was a welder in the union, and they were kids that never believed in debt.
Mm.
So, like my first 8 years of life, I lived in a trailer. My mom made our clothes. They have never had a debt, including a credit card or a car payment or a house payment, since they've been 35 years old. My dad worked on the Alaskan pipeline. They owned their own business. They paid off their business in their late 20s. And so I think growing up in that like no excuse world in money, and we put ourselves through college. My parents could afford it. They're like, sorry, like good luck. Here's how this works. You're now on your own. You're 18. And so having that upbringing of always wanting and having that super high drive. My sister does as well. She's number 4 down from the president in Social Security. She's my Irish twin. And so we just have this intense drive. And I think that's what causes me to always improve. And people always say, well, don't you want to beat so and so in the office? I don't even pay attention to anybody else, Jeremy. I am just in my own lane going, how do I improve myself? How do I improve my service? How do we get more clients? How do we get more referrals? That's the game I play every day. How do I improve? So what would your answer be? Because this will be interesting.
Well, it's along those lines. I think you're a person that believes in hard work, and there's so many books out there, self-help books, and a lot of them are just BS. The 4-hour work week is one of those. I'm sorry, I don't agree with it. Is you've got to put in the work. It takes effort to be successful, and I know that's ingrained in you. And I think the other thing too, and you might not say it, but it's shown in your actions, is consistency. Is you are consistent day in and day out.
Yeah. We start our meeting every day at 8:30 as a stand-up meeting in our team, no matter what.
Wow, an independent contractor that, yeah, we choose it for the freedom and flexibility, right? And yet most people make that decision. That's the wrong decision, and you treat it just like a job, a business. You
We treat
show
it
up.
as discipline. We show up as discipline so that we get the freedom and the flexibility. That's
Mindset. How important is mindset in this business? How important it is for you and your business?
well, it's everything because we're getting our brains beaten out there. We're writing multiple offers for buyers. We are competing like crazy over sellers. Sellers are beating us up over commissions. I mean, you have to keep your mindset. And I will tell you, for me personally, at my age, it starts with sleep,
Mhm.
right? It's all about getting a good night's sleep. It's all about prepping the night before. It's all about writing down everything I need to do in my planner the next day so I clear my mind so I can go to sleep. And the mindset is critical. And I mean, my past, right? So I taught Bold for 7 years and I've trained 3,500 agents in Bold. And so I have that mindset that every day I wake up and my feet hit the floor and I'm just grateful to be alive and I'm going to go kill it because I owe it to my kids to be my very best. And now my kids are in college, and the mentor and the role model that I'm being now, especially for them coming out and being in college and working hard and then getting ready to come out in the workforce. I mean, we talk about it all the time. Like that motivates the hell out of me because I'm now seeing this play out in college with my kids. And then going, gosh, mom, these kids don't work. They don't study. Like they don't have parameters. Like they don't understand time. And, we talk all the time about, remember the old Bold days when mom was practicing in the mirror forever and ever and ever. And you could tell the stories too, because you've heard them so many times. That's how they're treating their college. And that's how they're going to be as adults. So all of that mindset piece is critical as a parent, as a team lead, as me just being an individual, as a friend. I mean, I don't ever listen to complaining. If my kids start complaining, I put a 1-minute timer on them. Go, done, beep, done, you're done.
Absolutely.
So mindset is everything, right? And it's a choice. What do you let in your brain and what do you keep out of your brain?
Yeah, it's that filter, right? And sleep. It's amazing you brought that up. I was just having that conversation with my coach, Chad Himes, and that's the first thing that you put on your calendar is the time you go to bed and the time you wake up, and everything between that is sleep. And
Oh yeah.
makes a huge difference. And I know you were during that bold period, you had some health challenges, and I've had health challenges over the years. And it's amazing the power of sleep, and we just underestimate that.
Oh yeah. If I choose to stay really healthy, and Jeremy's talking about my colon basically blew up in 15 and I had colon surgery and it was all from stress. I mean, I now know how to keep my health good, and a lot of it has to do with sleep.
Absolutely.
So that keeps me out of all kinds of health problems.
So mindset is great, yet action is better. And so there a lot of people will fear that, getting into action and not being perfect, imperfect action. And what is your thought on action?
Go get messy. Like just do it. Like if you're getting ready to get ready to get ready to get ready, forget it. Like you're never going to be ready. I mean, that's why I say I improve my stuff every month. I mean, my coaching partner Stacy's like, I cannot believe you're putting that out in the bomb bomb, and I'm like, why? It gets people started. Well, it's not perfect. I don't care, right? Like I just want action going on all the time. So we're pumping out things in our systems and our team all the time, and it doesn't look perfect. And you know what? Something is better than nothing.
It still gets results. And that's the thing. I talk to my coaching clients about, doing more video on social media and, being able to connect and story tell, and they're afraid. And they're afraid, somebody will judge them, or that it won't be perfect, or they won't say it the right way, or they don't look like the way that they look, or whatever. And I just say, just go do it. And they do. They go out and they do it, and they get all this interaction and engagement, and they pick up leads from it. And it just took action, even if it was imperfect action.
Well, I mean, just think about this as if you get a lead, let's say from an effective agent or an agent pronto, and they're selling it to three different agents. If you're the one agent that sends them, a video email that looks apart and they're like, oh, look, she's human. She looks nice. She doesn't look like a serial killer. And these other people, I have no idea what they sounded like on the phone, except, you know, so how do you make yourself look different in today? Video is everything. And if you don't like the way you look, go change it, right? Don't use that as an excuse. Get a Peloton. I see your Peloton
Yeah.
right behind you.
I put it there. I was telling you earlier, I put it there to remind me, hey, I spent a lot on that bike, so I better be on it every day. It can't be the clothes hanger in the bedroom.
Yeah, I mean, and at some point, you just have to be on there because the video makes a difference. And I've been getting some consultations from one of my clients who does Facebook, and then her husband works for Microsoft. And I just listed their house. And they're like, okay, Shannon, we're going to challenge you. We want you to do a live Facebook walkthrough of our house because we're going to make you uncomfortable on Facebook. You've got to start doing this. And they're in completely different industries, right? Like completely different. So I did a whole video walkthrough of their house live on Facebook. Jeremy, I got over 1,000 views. And of course, they're hilarious, right? They're like, haha, see, Miss Realtor, you don't know what the hell you're doing. You need to listen to us. I mean, because they're from different industries, right? And they're like, you've got to be live on Facebook. You've got to be on video. You have to do this. So
Yeah,
if you wanted,
it's not only about the metrics, of and potentially picking up leads from it, but then going back to your client and saying, look, when I market a property and I do video with it, I got 1,000 more eyeballs on it than maybe somebody else that's not doing it.
yeah, I mean, just think about this. You're in a listing appointment. You go, hey, you know what? All top agents do live videos on their walkthrough tours. So I'm sure anybody else you're interviewing will also, you should go to their Facebook and see if they're doing live videos.
You got them. You got them.
That's one.
I used to do that with virtual tours. When
Oh,
virtual tours was
yeah.
a thing, right at the beginning, I was like, let's do a search and let's look at the homes that have virtual tours and be like all my listings. So
You
yeah,
do that with Matterports today. I do that with Google too, Jeremy. I'm really big on Google pages and making sure that you are a store, not a service on Google. And go look up my Google Shanan Group at Keller Williams Google page. We have our products on there. We have our current listings. We have our pendings. We have our closed from 2020, our closed from 2019. We're building all of our years going back because we have so much juice on Google right now. We're getting like 2 to 3 deals a month, paying no referral fees just because we're using this free service and we're using it at a high level, which
Yeah,
is
absolutely. That's so, misunderstood. I get a lot of my leads from Google Business. Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy.
All right. So your market probably pretty similar to what's happening in the Houston area and really all throughout Texas, really all across the country, is we're running into an inventory shortage. What would be a great strategy for an agent? Maybe they have a lot of buyers right now and they just don't have anywhere to put them. What would be the one strategy you would guide them towards?
Well, if I had a lot of buyers and no inventory, number one, I'd go start doing targeted Facebook ads to those particular areas. Number two, I'd probably buy a service that I could get the phone numbers of certain neighborhoods that they were looking in. Since door knocking is not super safe at this point, probably wouldn't be highly looked at. And thirdly, if you want to go really passive, I might mail postcards to certain areas. The other thing is though, is you can go out and create a reverse ad on Facebook. So we have buyers looking for blank and blank and blank bedrooms, blah, 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 blah. Please call us if you know anybody that has a house like this. The other place that we're going back though is like people that bought in 15, 16, 17, because they have so much equity and it may be their time to move up because the interest rates are so low. So they have an inflated equity right now and they can buy up because the interest rates are so low. So if we can go get more of those people moving, it shakes out inventory. And then we're selling them ourselves. We're not even letting them hit the market because we have enough buyers. We're just putting them in.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're seeing that here. A lot of the stuff doesn't hit the market or, it will hit the MLS, but it hits it as pending. So that, that listing agent had that buyer in their back pocket already.
You better believe it.
Yeah.
And by the way, the more listings you have, the bigger you can build this business right now, just because it's just what it is.
And that's really any time, right? Listings will always win.
Yeah. So like, let's say we have a listing coming up and we go back into all of our leads of all of our sources and say, hey, we have a house coming up. Do any of you think this is a good house? Right. Because then we can possibly match make and not go on the market. And then we get 2 sales.
Absolutely. An agent's looking at building a team such as yours. They want to get to that production level. What is the first step they need to take? And let's say they're in the ballpark of closing anywhere from 2 to 10 million. What is that step that they take to go to that next level?
Well, the first step is an admin. Always. You should be able to double your business with the right admin. And that admin needs to be, to me, they need to be licensed. They need to be able to go sit on inspections, meet appraisers, do whatever you need to have done as legs. Because if you're selling more, you should be able to double your business. And then I don't think you should go and add another agent until you have so many leads and lead sources that you're out of control.
Mhm.
Like, don't go add people if you don't have anything to give. You have to have a really high value proposition of your team in order to bring people on your team. Because, I mean, most times, right, it's a 50-50 split. So what are they getting for the 50?
And
Like
I've
in
and
my
I've been
case,
in that I've been in that position before where I was the team lead and it was a 50-50. And if there wasn't enough value, you might as well, it's just an open door
yeah,
and are coming in and out all the time, which sucks time away from you being able to grow your business to the next level. So
yeah. And I mean, and people approach me all the time. Hey, I want to be on your team. And I'm like, I'm not ready. I have to have a certain reserve of bandwidth in order to bring somebody on my team. And right now I don't. So I think that's important too, as you have a team, you have to know when you're willing to grow and when you're not, because otherwise you're just going to be letting people down and letting yourself down.
yeah, absolutely. And you see that all the time. And that also impacts your reputation as well.
Oh yeah.
You're representing your business and you're bringing these people into their lives. You're not just bringing them in as business people, but you're jacking with their family too. So, you want to make sure that value is big enough to have them in there. But you
Yeah.
forgot one thing. and I use the word but, I know you forgot one thing: hire a coach, right? Make
Yeah.
sure you're getting into coaching. So tell me a little bit about that. I know you're stepping in back into a position where you've got this massive business that you're growing and it's still growing. And you're also getting into leadership coaching again.
I am, which is my love. You know that. That's where my true passion is. So, when I launched my team, or launched back into business in 16, I did two hires up front. My first hire was a coach. My second hire was my admin. So my first year I came back and did almost 14 million. Like, and by the way, Jeremy, I hit the phone 6 hours a day for the first 2 months. That's how, I was a single mom, paying alimony, kids in private school. I didn't have a choice. I hit the phones every day for 6 hours. If you're watching this going, I don't have enough leads, my question is, are you calling enough? Because
Exactly.
it took me that long to get back moving again. And I've never not had a coach. So it depends on which coaching program I'm learning from at the time. Like right now, I'm in coaching with Russell Brunson and Amy Porterfield, and it's about writing digital classes and marketing digital classes and stuff that I've never learned before, which has been an awesome deal. So, yes, I coach team leaders of Keller Williams offices and helping them understand from a 40 million perspective view of how to build the market center business, how to coach agents, how to help them. Um, and that's just a huge passion of mine, of coaching leadership. I'm John Maxwell trained. That's just where my love is. I've done 6,000 leadership calls. So, you know, and by the way, if you're listening to this and you're not with a coach, call Jeremy, for God's sake, get in coaching. And then, we have Bomb Bomb coaching as well. And I've talked to you about that as well, Jeremy. Bomb Bomb is a system that my partner Stacy taught me, and it has impacted our business so amazingly. I mean, from our lead responders to our pre-list to our follow-up, we build buttons in there and links and videos. And I mean, it's cool shit. And it works because it makes us stand out. So, as we start going into coaching again, I feel like I needed to stop and build a business and have a story.
Mhm.
I and I think that's why it was so important for me to come back and be relevant in sales before I opened up my doors to, now I'm ready to coach clients.
Mhm.
And who I'm looking for are team leaders, right?
Yeah.
Like that's my clientele.
Yeah. And you've got a great story. You didn't need to come back to do all that to be able to do this, by the way. You've got a great story. It just adds to it. So yeah, and I know we're in that conversation about Bomb Bomb. So if you have any questions about that, we'll definitely be offering that through here as well. So I'm looking forward to diving into that deeper. Shannon, if somebody wants to connect with you and they're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the Kansas City area, how do they get a hold of you?
You can Facebook message me, Shanan Steer. That's probably the easiest way. I'm on Facebook all the time. And by the way, we have a closed group called GSD Collective that we interview top agents and coaches on all the time. That's kind of fun. It's all about systems, which I know you coach too as well, Jeremy. So if you want to come, just listen to some of our crazy interviews. And some of them are not like, they're mostly PG-13.
Yeah, they are. There's a
We
little
get a little
there's a little
real sometimes.
spice. There's a
Yeah,
little
we get a
spice.
little real.
It's
It's
good.
great.
I'm a member of that group too. So there's some great interviews. I can't remember who you talked to yesterday out of Colorado.
Jessica Lentz.
She was awesome. Love some of the things she shared. You had Chris Heller
27
on.
million working 7 hours a day, no weekends, homeschooling a kid last year.
Yeah, amazing. And
Freaking
Chris Heller
awesome.
was on the other
63 kids.
day talking about Sojo, right? Uh,
Yep.
Chris Heller and just some amazing talent that you have on there. And so I do encourage, if you're not a part of that group, go join it. There's some great information you can get in there as well.
Yeah, and if you have any interest in Bomb Bomb, please connect with me. We're actually building a funnel this week, Jeremy, so I'll get that information to you once we get our funnel done. That just kind of talks a little bit more about our program and what it looks like. I just know how much video and these systems have helped us, because literally from 18.8 million to 40 in 2 years with no additional people, you've got to look at, and that really is the story, right?
Right.
Like, how do you double at that level without hiring 3 more people. It's all
Absolutely.
systems.
Yeah, and hopefully there's some people on here listening that's possible, because the thing that most people, when they hear something like that, they're like, that's not possible. I can validate that it is possible. You
Yeah.
validated that it is possible.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
It's real. They're real numbers, right? Like we've gotten a lot of publicity around it. We're being featured in Real Producers this month just because all of a sudden they're like, where did you guys come from? And you're so small. Like we don't have anybody selling 40 million that only have, 4 people on our team. And this year, you asked me what our goals are this year. This year, our goal is not to grow in team members. There are 2 of us that sell, one director of ops, and our goal is 35 million, which means both of our production will go up, or actually his production will go up. And then of course I have different goals on my coaching side.
yeah.
So, and that's great with us. We have a 2-person team selling 35 million. We're good.
Yeah, you're profitable. So
Yeah, it's all about profit.
yeah, awesome.
I'm not about the show. I'm all about the dough.
Well, Shanan, I really appreciate you taking this time. You've been a big part of my life, and I appreciate you taking this time to just share and give some insight. Again, I think it's good to hear when you hear people that are really doing these things out there, to get some of that insight. People are always looking for that and might not always have the access to that. So I appreciate you taking the time today to come in and share a little bit about what's happening in your world.
Yeah, and if you guys have any questions, just have Jeremy connect me.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks again, Shanan. Have a great day.
All right, thank you. Have a great day.